Hey you guys, so tip number one. I think the first tip is knowing your niche, knowing what type of content you're going to be making. That is the most important thing. If you don't know what you're posting, no one's going to know how to find you. They're not going to know why they need to listen to your stuff. So you need to know exactly what you're going to be transparent with your audience, letting them know how you can take them from point A to point B, giving them different types of skills and advice that's going to help them and guide them to the point of where they want to go. So your niche is the very most important thing that you can ever have and say when it comes to your content. Tip number two. I think tip number two is consistency. Get your shots up. Stephen Curry gets his shots up. Actors rehearse their stuff. You need to be consistent in understanding what your niche is, obviously, and also understanding what you're going to be talking about, what kind of content you're going to be making, how you're going to be consistent and give them the things that they need. Your audience are like consumers that want to eat. They want to consume and feed. If you're only giving them little entrees or little snack-sized portions of what you have to offer, they're going to be hungry for more. And if you can't satisfy their hunger, someone else can. So you need to be consistent enough to where they want to come the next day, the next week. Give them enough value that lasts them to want to come back and get more feedback, get more advice, and consume or eat whatever you have to bring to the table when it comes to your content. Tip number three, confidence in the dip. I know what you're thinking, like, what's the dip? The dip is the learning curve that it takes to master a skill. You gotta understand that you gotta have confidence. Everything that you're trying to do is gonna come with a learning curve or a dip. So if you're not gonna be able to go through that dip and that learning curve and that, them obstacles, then you're not gonna be able to master or give anyone any type of value, because teaching is a learning skill, but it's also got its disadvantages. You know what I mean? You don't know how certain people learn. You got to do it in different ways. So you got to go through different learning curves and different obstacles to be able to master what it is, the content that you have to bring to the table. If it's recording, if it's editing, if it's if you're an introvert and you're trying to express yourself, whatever it is, you got to go through a dip or a learning curve. You got to have the confidence to feel like you can press through it and go back to being consistent on what? Your niche. So again, step number three, or skill number three and tip number three is understanding how do I get the confidence and the self-awareness to get through that dip or that learning curve. So hey, I want to elaborate a little bit more and give you a different analogy. Do you know how you go on a roller coaster and you have that traction before it goes to the top? That's the learning curve or dip of going through something and facing that adversity and trying a new skill and mastering it. You know what I mean? You never start off on a roller coaster at the top. Most roller coasters that are great, they have a sense of going up and another thing that you don't realize is it takes time. The anticipation is necessary. You have to go through different adversity and different, friction to get to the top of where you're trying to go. So then once you're at that top, it's going to be better. You're going to have more fun and you're going to experience way more things, and it's going to be worth it. You know what I mean? And then you're going to be able to feel the adrenaline of all that traction building up and all that creativity that's flowing, and it's going to be all worth it at the end of the day. So I think that the most important thing is understanding how you have the confidence to get through that traction, to get through that dip, and get through all that adversity. Tip number four. Tip number four is be organic, be transparent, be original. And I know what you're thinking, I am original. No, really, be original. Stop trying to say you're being original and being different, and then you're really just, faking it. Be yourself. If you're not somebody that's extrovert, out there, then don't be that. You don't have to be something that you're not. If you're more of an introvert, but you still have value and advice to bring, be organic, be transparent, because the audience can tell. If they're fans of you, they know you. They feel like they relate to you. So if your off-camera body type is, introvert, show that on the camera. You can still give them the same value, you know what I mean? So be yourself. I think the more organic, the more transparent, and the more you be yourself and be original, your audience can relate to it and they can get the most experience out of each and every video that you make. So again, be organic with your advice and tips and be transparent with your audience. Tip number 5, have a cadence, a schedule, have a plan. If you're going through things, you gotta have a plan, you gotta be organized, you gotta have some type of cadence and schedule, because what happens is people who are creative, they go through slumps, you know what I mean? Writers, they go through slumps. Actors, they go through slumps. Directors, they go through slumps. So you gotta be able to have a schedule to get you through that hump and get you through that creative slump that you're having, you know what I mean? So if that's the case, schedule out your videos in advance. Make 2, 3, 4, 5 different videos at one time. So that way, when it's time for you to drop your video, you're still being original, still having that cadence, and you're not forcing and trying to create a video on the spot, you know what I mean? So I will definitely say that you gotta have a schedule and have some type of cadence. If you post on Mondays, hey, tell your audience every Monday, you know what I mean? So now that does 2 things. It, 1, let your audience know when they can find you, and the second thing, it gives you enough time so then you can get your shit together, put out your videos, and drop it by Monday, you know what I mean? And then record 3, 4 times throughout the week, so just in case if you didn't get to post the following week or so, you got enough content to last you until you need to post again. So schedule, cadence, and having a plan, and recording your stuff early, and having some type of, you know, cadence to what you're doing, and being consistent. It's all about being consistent. Tip number 6. Tip number 6 is have passion, you guys. Have passion. I got my number 1 word, which is passion, from Evan Carmichael. So shout out to you. And I'll say this. When you're being transparent with your audience, you got to have the energy that it takes to tell them the things that you need to tell them. If you don't have that passion, or if you're not feeling confident in the things that you're making, your audience can tell. So don't record on days that you're not feeling your best. You know what I mean? Don't record on days where you feel like, I'm just doing this just because I got to get content out. You know what I mean? Because your audience can tell. Those days, maybe you may do something a little bit different. Maybe you may do a good morning. Maybe you might tell them, hey, you guys, I'm not feeling the best, but I just want to give you guys an update. Don't try to pretend to be something that you're not, just for your audience to get the value that they need. You know what I mean? So you got to be transparent. You got to have passion in everything that you do. So that way, when you have passion, you have the energy that it takes to resonate and be able to be expressive and talk about the things that you need to talk about in your content. This next tip is a bonus tip, and it's ask for feedback. As you grow and as you build your social media, your brand, and talk about the things that you want to talk about, you want to ask for feedback so that way you can stay transparent with your audience. It gives you more things to talk about. It lets you know that your audience is resonating in what you're doing. It gives you so much confidence because you understand that you're giving the feedback, you're getting value for value. People are letting you know what they like from you, and then you give them what they love to hear and love to see, you know? So I say the last thing is definitely ask for feedback. Tell them, hey, listen, comment below this, that, and the third. Let them know that you enjoy the things that they have to say. If it's negative, speak on the negativity in a positive way. Let them know that your value is transparent. If they don't like it now, they'll eventually will like it. Or let them know that you would switch it up, not your cadence, but switch it up how you may say things. You know what I mean? Maybe somebody might not like the way you're talking about it this way. Maybe if you got to be transparent to your audience, have some type of empathy, you know? So get the feedback. If the feedback is not what you want, listen to the feedback and make it transparent to your audience, you know what I mean? So that way you don't have a chip on your shoulder every time you get something negative, but also you're asking for feedback and people can resonate and say the things that they love or dislike about your content, you know what I mean? Because everyone's not going to love what you make, but as long as you're being transparent, it's the only thing you can ask for. Again, you guys, I am not a professional, but I think these tips can be transparent and helpful to you guys. Let me know in the comments, was these tips helpful? Tell me your favorite tips. Tell me some things that I can do to switch it up and make it better. I love the feedback. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, you know, hit that bell button to get, you know, a notification every time I post. I'll be talking about a lot of different things, and stay tuned.